of November 2015, a month and 2 days till Christmas. So the year is moving forward very fast. We're also moving closer to more QE from Mario Draghi in the ECB on December 3rd, and also likely the Fed hike on December 16th. Excuse me. The market over the weekend, or I should say on Friday, had a very interesting period. The Dow was up, and that capped off, and the S&P that capped off a pretty good week, 2% rally for both those markets and the other big markets in the States, which is a pretty good performance when you think about where we were Monday morning. We were talking about the Paris attacks and that sort of thing. That helped the Australian market, the ASX 200, and the SPY. They rallied over 4% on the week and have broken out along with the DAX. But the question you've got to ask yourself from a stock point of view is, if the S&P is still below 2100, is this really the start of the Santa Claus rally, or is this just more messy, volatile trading? To try and answer that question, I've written a quick piece at Business Insider this morning from the guy that's head of the equity division, or managing director at least anyway, at Morgan Stanley in New York. Good news is good news, good news is bad news is bad news, good news is bad news. It's all a mess, really. It's very volatile. As we get into this less liquid period toward year's end to the turn, there's all likelihood that we could get more of this fractious trade. But central banks are certainly not helping. There's a special meeting of the Fed tonight. It looks procedural, but it's have a look at my new report that I have out at Business Insider this morning. 6 things traders will be talking about. In it, I discuss what's happened with stocks and the potential for the Santa Claus rally, what's going on with the Baltic Dry Index, which made a new all-time low. How the heck is the Aussie dollar managing to hold up in the face of that, in the face of wheat crude, in the face of Dr. Copper that made a new 6-year low, in the face of the US dollar that hammered euro and sterling lower. Euro's at 106.38 this morning, sterling 151.82. They were both focused higher as we left on Friday afternoon, but they've reversed savagely. The Aussie and yen, however, have managed to resist that US dollar strength. So that's very interesting. Japan's on holidays today, so it's going to be pretty thin for the next few hours. That could put the Aussie under some pressure. And we've got some important data out this week. We've got a speech by RBA Governor Glenn Stevens tomorrow night, and we've also got CapEx data on Thursday. They're probably the highlights, but it's an interesting week. It's a thin week. It's Thanksgiving in the US, so Wednesday and Friday will be thinner than usual. Thursday, of course, is a holiday. You get jobless claims and that sort of thing dragged forward to Wednesday. We've got durable goods orders, which are important. We've got the next read of GDP for the US. We've got a read of GDP in the UK as well. So these are all important data points. So don't expect it to be a quiet week. I'd be very looking at the charts. Let me just share some charts with you. All right, let's just quickly have a look at the euro. Pretty ugly, really, when you think about it. That's the daily candlestick. This trend line, though, however, we're resting back towards it. That goes back to 2000. So we'll wait and see how it looks through time. And that's the monthly charts. Monthlies are well overdone, but let's face it, catching falling knife territory again. I don't know. If all the news is built in, which I would have thought it probably would be. What exactly was Mario Draghi supposed to say other than, oh, by the way, boys, we are going to do more QE. Of course, Jens Wiedemann from the Bundesbank said we should be focusing not on the deflationary aspects of the fall in oil, but on the stimulatory aspects of it. So there's still a battle going there, but we are going to get some more QE. So there are renewed calls for euro to head down and through parity. Long term, I believe it's going to go under 90, but we'll have to wait and see. In terms of the other big mover, where's my sterling chart? I can never find my sterling chart, can I? Right, so failed at the 200-day moving average. The last big failure at the 200-day moving average was crude, and we know what happened there. So let's just keep an eye on that one. If I was to draw a trend line here too, just a little one. Let's have a look. What have we got? Is that a fake trend line? Could be. Yeah, it's pretty good. So we're opening a bit weak. So let's say 152.18 is resistance on the day. On the 4-hour charts for sterling, yeah, maybe a little bit lower. But that Let's just adjust that trend line so you can get a proper look at it. Sorry, there we go. Probably there. Probably still fair. So yeah, you got 152.11, 152.18 is the level to watch. So really surprised with sterling. Euro a little bit too. Thankfully stops are stops, and they keep you out of trouble. On the Aussie, however, we've got a break of this trend line here, which was 1 month. The break of this pink trend line, which goes back 15 months actually on the dailies. And if I shrink that down a little bit, you can get a sense that maybe 73.80 is kind of a level that we'll have to wait and see on that one. Probably a quiet day today, a little bit of downside pressure first. In terms of the S&P 200, we've got this. That's a high back in earlier this year, and we've got across there, and so we've run into a little bit of resistance there. So, the stochastics are getting a little bit overdone. Maybe that's a sign that we're going to slow down. I just think that you've got to see the US market back above 2100 for the S&P to get really excited about that. So that's pretty much it today. It's a holiday in Japan, so as I say, the next few hours will be quiet. Nothing too exciting going on here in Australia. The data tonight, it's market PMIs. Nothing too exciting. Chicago Fed activity index, national activity index might be a little bit interesting, and maybe some chatter about what that Fed meeting or FOMC meeting really is all about. But otherwise, we're going to ease into the week. Euro is going to be under pressure, so be looking for that to try and test support or hold support. Sterling the same, although it doesn't have the big support that Euro does. Aussie is in the opposite position. It wants to kick on, but people are going to be skeptical with copper down at 205 and crude oil lower as well. January crude's 41.90. I'm not sure what that 39. I've got NYMEX at 41.90. There was a lot of chatter about 39.94, but I haven't seen it, so I'll have to go and investigate that one. Overall, interesting week. Have a look at my 6 things. My new report, 6 things at Business Insider Australia. Also, the Aussie Trader Market Morning are out. They're now 2 different types of reports. So one's these are the kind of things people will be talking about. One is this is what I think. I wanted to differentiate them, and I think that they'll work better for both audiences. So have a look at those. Links to those will both be on. You can either see my Twitter feed, obviously the Aussie Trader Twitter feed for it, and you can also have a look at my website because we put links to those articles that I publish around the grounds. Anyway, that's it for me. Have a good day today. Watch your levels. There's some really good chart patterns forming. Have a look whether it's in the S&P, whether it's in silver, which is trying to bottom, whether it's in dollar Sing, which looks like it might be topping out. That's my bellwether, by the way, for emerging markets. If dollar Sing's topping out, then Aussie's going to go, and it's time to be looking at buying euro, not selling euro. So keep an eye on those things. So dollar yen, I didn't mention dollar yen, 122.60. If it falls through there, then it's gone, but that should be support. It's just slipped through that daily uptrend, and 122.60 to me is the key level. But that's it from me. You can find me on Twitter at Gregory McKenna. You can find me at Business Insider. You can find me at axitrader.com or on the Aussie Trader Twitter handle. And, of course, you can find me at gregmckenna.com.au. Have a great day today. Good punting, trading, I should say, because we don't punt, do we? We've got stops and all those kind of things. Have a great day. Bye for now.